Can you share a case study of when you use the approach, know your enemy?
There are so many because every single deal we use. I actually sometimes like to talk about ones in which I was personally involved with as opposed to where I advised a client, although there are clearly many. I say to people that I was never so focused on the words in an agreement as when it was my money going to buy my company, or my money when I was trying to sell it, or my money when we were making an acquisition for my company. But certainly the first technology company that I ever had a material ownership interest in is one that where we bought the assets to form that company from a consortium that was controlled by Swiss banks. And they had bought those assets from Standard & Poor's several years earlier. And I understood why they had bought those assets in the beginning. I understood that they valued a stream of information that was coming out of the software that they had bought. And I also understood why they were open to selling it. And it was in part because they were fixated on meeting the needs of the back office of Swiss banks, whereas these software assets were really more appropriate for meeting the needs of traders, and those interests are different. And I understood that they were frustrated at the lack of compatibility between those assets and what they needed. I also understood that the key negotiator for the Swiss was not the guy who had acquired those assets to begin with, and therefore he wouldn't be embarrassed for having made a bad decision. And having understood him, I could negotiate a deal with him that worked out to be win-win, and it worked.